This update brought to you by the new Hilux. Awaken your unbreakable.
Up next in the local news, the Defence Department's Fraud Control Office is investigating serious financial irregularities at its training centre in Kapooka. Claims of blatant double standards when it comes to coronavirus restrictions in regional New South Wales compared to Sydney. Anger on the streets of Ashmont as a motorbike rider without a helmet is filmed hooning up and down a residential street. Another setback for a Wagga woman stranded in Canada after a horror motorbike crash. A special tribute for local women battling breast cancer. In the national news, Donald Trump slammed for leaving hospital to see his fans, and income tax relief on the way. How much money you'll get back. We'll see you next.
This is Prime7 Local News with Madelaine Collignon and Karl Lijnders, and Elly Wicks with your local weather forecast.
Tonight, Defence fraud investigators to probe financial irregularities at Kapooka. A plea to ease COVID restrictions with claims of double standards in Sydney.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, Donald Trump's doctor admits he hasn't painted the full picture of the president's health, and some income tax relief is on the way. Find out just how much he'll save.
Now, Prime7 Local News.
Good evening. The Army's Kapooka training base has been hit by fraud and corruption allegations worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. For more on this, we're joined by Rochelle Brown. And Rochelle, what else can you tell us?
Maddie, the allegations relate to the Adventurous Training Wing, a subunit of the training centre. It comes after an internal document surfaced which allegedly details complaints of financial irregularities and includes a list of missing approvals and records. Defence is currently undertaking a secondary review of the wing and would not comment any further.
Thanks, Rochelle. Rochelle Brown there. There are renewed calls to ease COVID restrictions in rural and regional communities before metropolitan Sydney. It's been more than 2 months since Wagga had a confirmed coronavirus case, and locals say it's not fair that our economy keeps suffering while the government make exemptions in Sydney.
If you're watching from a pub in the bush, you'll be limited to just 10 mates.
You can have tens of thousands of people drink, yell, sing and cheer at the footy. But if you're on Broken Hill or you're at Temora, you can't stand and have a beer.
Samantha Costin, Prime7 News.
Local church leaders are fed up with COVID restrictions limiting congregation numbers. Churches can only have 100 people at a time, including volunteers, children and staff. There are also restrictions on singing. Inspire Church pastor Brendan McMartin says it's not fair that performance venues are now allowed to be at 50% capacity, while much stricter restrictions remain at places of worship.
They say 1 person per 4 square metres. With the 100 rule that we have at church, it's 1 person per 30 square metres. So it's a bit ridiculous when it comes to church.
Mr McMartin is urging churchgoers to write to local MPs, urging them to fight to have restrictions eased. A young motorbike rider has been caught on camera hooting up and down a residential street in Ashmont, infuriating locals. Residents captured this man riding up and down Swan Street multiple times at high speed without a helmet. A resident claims he reached more than 90 kilometres an hour at one point. They say it's a common occurrence, with motorists speeding through the residential area, cutting off traffic and putting pedestrians in danger. The incident has been reported to police. Infrastructure spending will be high on the agenda when the federal budget is brought down tomorrow night. But here in Wagga, the local council is doing its bit for major projects. It'll ease red tape and defer fees to ensure the local economy keeps rumbling along.
It's one of the largest employers in the city, responsible for keeping 10% of Wagga's workforce in a job.
First, it was a catastrophic accident. Now the Wagga woman stranded in Canada amid the pandemic is facing another medical emergency. Alanda Packer is back in Montreal Hospital awaiting potential surgery while her desperate family fight to bring her home.
Bright-eyed, adorable youngsters who grew into inseparable, fun-loving Wagga sisters, Kayla and Alanda explored the world together before the youngest of the pair left for a once-in-a-lifetime Canadian adventure with her partner Josh.
Love and support from the community has just been great.
Our goal is to make sure Alanda is okay to be on that flight.
Even with her insurance, Alanda will be tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket. To help, visit GoFundMe. Steph Muir, Prime7 News.
It's time now for a quick check of the weather with Elly, Wicks and Elly. What a long weekend. We had lovely weather for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. And it continued today with these temperatures. Good evening, while public holiday Monday delivered warmer than average temperatures and partly cloudy skies across the southern inland. In Wagga, we sat more than 4 degrees above the October average, reaching a top of 26 degrees today. It was nice and warm for Narrandera, 26 as well, 27 degrees in Lockhart. Most of us had some fairly mild overnight lows as well, so we've been quite nice in the mornings too. It was quite a warm day for tomorrow, getting up to 27, the same in Grenfell, and 28 degrees for West Wyalong. We've already begun to see some of these really light showers further south moving through. They'll be heading north and really hanging around for the rest of the week, so quite a change in weather heading our way. I'll have all the details coming up shortly.
Great to see all the rain.
Yeah,
thanks, Elly. We'll get the details in a minute. Still to come in Prime 7 local news, scary bikers take over the Basement Theatre and a moving tribute to local women battling breast cancer.
And a little later on this news hour, Trump out of hospital, then right back in. The details of his controversial drive-by. The state hits 10 days with no new cases of community transmission. It has a new spat brews over the border between Queensland and New South Wales. And income tax cuts are on the way, but how much could you actually get back? That's tonight.
Stay in touch 24/7 at prime7.com.au.
Today, around 53 Australian women are grappling with devastating news after learning they have breast cancer. For the month of October, a Wagga business is paying tribute to these brave women and their families, creating a moving sea of pink.
Messages of love.
Always love you forever, Lenny.
To mums and daughters, sisters and nieces, friends and loved ones, all taken far too soon.
Rehearsals are in full swing for the Wagga School of Art's final production of the year. British comedy Scary Bikers was chosen to end the season to help lift people's spirits in the pandemic.
Okay, ta-ta!
Oh, give over.
Performances kick off on Friday and run until the 18th of October at the Basement Theatre. Now that restrictions have eased again, they can fit 17 extra people in the audience.
They can expect laughs, arguments, and two people discovering not only what's going on in Europe during Brexit and England during Brexit, but discovering things about themselves.
Bookings can be made on the SOACT website. Still to come in Prime 7 local news, the Spring Carnival kicks into top gear and the Wagga City Wanderers make history in the capital.
Good evening, everyone. The Wagga City Wanderers have made history. The club claimed its maiden first-grade premiership at the weekend, defeating Ugali SC in a classic in Canberra.
A Riverina rivalry, if there ever was one. First-time Capital NPL Grand Finalists Wagga City and Ugali SC faced off in Canberra yesterday, and it didn't take long for Matt Mensah to draw first blood for the Wanderers. Ned Baum, Prime 7 News.
And staying in soccer and history repeated for the Wanderers in the under-23s competition, taking on ANU in the decider. Wagga City once again went in as underdogs but hit the scoreboard first through Matthew Moffat. There was no shortage of racing on offer over the long weekend, with a number of strong local showings as well as a few notable names putting in last-minute preparations for the Kosciuszko coming up at Randwick.
The picnic races returned to the region at the weekend, and it didn't take long for locals to take advantage.
First favourite time, Mongolian Brave.
We've seen a change roll through this afternoon. Patchy rain tonight, more rain midweek. Elly's got details on the soggy spell next.
Good evening again. We're expecting a bit of a change in weather across New South Wales as we head back to work tomorrow. A cold front will move across the east. That should create some cooler conditions for southern and central New South Wales, along with a few showers and possibly a few storms as well. It will be mostly dry further north, but a trough will linger just over the west for the back half of the week, and that looks to bring widespread rain across inland areas of our state. Keeping on that rain, and it is looking like a promising week across the south with a number of systems bringing us some wet weather. We could possibly be seeing seeing maybe around 25 to 50 millimetres. The further east you are, the more rain that you might see. And this should kick off from tomorrow for most of our region. So if we have a look at Tuesday's weather, we will feel a little bit of a drop in temperature, down to the low 20s for most of us across the Riverina and southwest slopes. We're expecting temperatures around, there we go, 22 degrees in Adelong, 21 in Cootamundra and 22 in Grenfell. The winds will be quite gusty at times. We are expecting those showers tomorrow. On Wednesday, it'll be another cloudy day, 21 the top in Griffith, 19 degrees in Lockhart, 21 degrees in Naranda with those showers continuing, but more towards the afternoon or early evening. It should be quite a nice day across the region for rain, but it will really kick into gear on Thursday. This is when that trough should deepen over the inland and should bring us some heavier falls. So we might see around 10 or even up to 20 millimetres falling in Wagga. Thunderstorms might bring some heavier falls across our region. It is looking quite promising for the back half of this week for us. 19 the top in Tumbarumba and 22 degrees in Tumut. So still staying fairly mild, just not as warm as the weekend and into today. And having a look now at the next 7 days, we should start to dry out by Friday, a top of 17 degrees. And by the weekend, we should be dry and feeling a little bit warmer. So perfect. Wet conditions during the week and then dry by the weekend.
Can't complain about that. Looking forward to that rain too. Thanks, Elly. See you later. Now let's take a look at the region's best petrol prices. In Ashmont, the Silverlight has unleaded for $1.13 and diesel for $1.14. The Mobile in Junee is selling unleaded for $1.13 and diesel for $1.11. And for those near Cootamundra, the Metro Fuel has unleaded for $1.19 and diesel for $1.21. And that's your local news for tonight. Thanks for your company. You can join the debate on your local issues on our Facebook page. Right now, though, Daniel Gibson has Prime 7 News at 6:30. We'll see you tomorrow.